Ever wonder what makes the US and Canada, two neighbors sharing the world's longest undefended border, so different yet so similar? Let's dive deep into what each country gets right and what they get wrong, exploring everything from healthcare to justice. First, let's talk about how they're run. In the United States, the system is designed to empower individuals and states. It's a republic built on the idea of checks and balances, where power is distributed to prevent any one group from becoming too dominant. This often leads to a dynamic, sometimes chaotic, political landscape where change can happen quickly at the local level. On the other hand, Canada operates on a more hierarchical model inherited from its British parliamentary roots. Power is more centralized at the federal and provincial levels. This can make the government feel more stable and predictable, but it can also mean that decisions from the top down take longer to filter through and adapt to local needs. So, you have American dynamism versus Canadian stability. Which one is better? It really depends on what you value. Now for the big one, healthcare. This is where the differences are truly night and day. Canada is famous for its universal, publicly funded healthcare system. The idea is simple. Everyone gets access to necessary medical care, regardless of their ability to pay. This means no one goes bankrupt from a hospital stay, and healthcare is seen as a right, not a privilege. The downside? You've probably heard about the wait times. Because the system serves everyone, getting a specialist appointment or non-emergency surgery can sometimes take a while. Meanwhile, the US system is a complex patchwork, mostly based on private insurance, often tied to your job. If you have great insurance, you can get world-class care very quickly. The US is a leader in medical innovation and research. However, this system leaves millions uninsured or underinsured. A medical emergency can become a financial catastrophe. The US spends far more per person on healthcare than Canada, yet it doesn't always lead to better overall health outcomes for the population as a whole. So we have Canada's universal access with potential delays versus America's cutting-edge care with major accessibility and cost issues. Both systems are constantly being debated and are far from perfect. Let's shift gears to culture. How do these two nations welcome new people? Canada officially embraces multiculturalism. It's often described as a cultural mosaic. The government actively encourages immigrants to maintain their cultural heritage, languages, and traditions. The idea is that these diverse pieces create a richer, stronger national fabric. You can see this in cities like Toronto or Vancouver, where different cultures thrive side by side. The US traditionally has been known as the melting pot. The classic idea is that immigrants assimilate, blending into a singular American culture. While this fosters a strong sense of national identity and individualism, it can also pressure newcomers to leave parts of their own culture behind. The US doesn't have an official policy of multiculturalism in the same way Canada does. So it's the Canadian mosaic, celebrating diversity and social cohesion, versus the American melting pot, which emphasizes forging a new unified identity. What about the economy, specifically when it comes to energy? The US generally favors a market-based approach. The government tries to create an environment where competition and innovation can flourish, which has made the US a global energy powerhouse. This focus on market forces drives down costs and boosts energy security. This strategy is all about growth and competitiveness. Canada takes a more regulatory approach. There are more rules and oversight governing the energy sector, which can sometimes create hurdles for investment and development. These regulations are often designed to balance economic goals with environmental protection and social responsibilities. However, some argue that these burdensome rules and high operational costs can hinder the sector's growth compared to its American counterpart. It's a classic battle. America's market-driven engine versus Canada's more cautious, regulated path. These different strategies have huge impacts on their economies and their progress towards sustainability. Now let's turn to the justice system. Here the philosophies diverge significantly. Canada puts a strong emphasis on rehabilitation. The goal isn't just to punish offenders, but to help them reintegrate into society as productive citizens. Correctional programs often include education, job training, and counseling to address the root causes of crime and reduce the chances of reoffending. The system also promotes principles of restorative justice, focusing on repairing the harm caused by crime. In contrast, the U.S. justice system has historically focused more on punishment. This has led to policies like mandatory minimum sentences and three-strikes laws, contributing to one of the highest incarceration rates in the world. The American approach often involves longer prison sentences, with less focus on rehabilitation. While the goal is to deter crime by being tough, critics argue it creates a cycle of imprisonment without solving underlying social issues. So we have Canada's focus on second chances versus the American emphasis on paying a debt to society through punishment. Both nations, however, still grapple with major challenges in achieving fair and equitable justice for all their citizens. Finally, let's look at their approaches to the biggest challenge of our time: climate change. Both the U.S. and Canada have set ambitious goals, including achieving net zero electricity systems by 2035 and net zero emissions across their entire economies by 2050. But how they plan to get there is different. Canada has put a price on carbon pollution nationwide. It's a direct financial incentive for businesses and individuals to reduce their emissions. This is one of the main tools in their climate policy toolbox. The U.S. has taken a different route, focusing more on massive public investment and regulations. The Inflation Reduction Act is a prime example, pouring billions of dollars into clean energy technologies, electric vehicles, and green infrastructure. It's less about making pollution expensive and more about making clean alternatives cheap and accessible. These different strategies, Canada's carbon tax versus America's investment-led approach, can affect economic competitiveness between the two countries. But despite their differences, they are also collaborating on many fronts, knowing that tackling climate change requires a unified effort. So who gets it right and who gets it wrong? The truth is, there's no simple answer. Both the United States and Canada are vast, complex countries with unique strengths and weaknesses. Canada's systems often prioritize collective well-being and stability, while the U.S. champions individualism and dynamic competition. What works for one might not work for the other, and both are constantly learning and evolving. What do you think? Which country's approach do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world around us.